Welcome to the Nick Fong Podcast. As the broker and owner of Ronival Real Estate, Nick has spent nearly 20 years in Baja, California, Sur. And in this podcast, he'll be talking everything Baja, from food and culture to real estate and property management. And now, here's your host, Nick Fong.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. We have two guests, Emma Nicholson and Dede Bacon. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for making the trek all the way from Los Barriles, the East Cape. And I thought, what better way to start the year than talk about luxury properties in the East Cape. You have been, Dede, in the real estate game for several decades, right?
More than several.
And Emma, you come from England, and you've been a resident in Los Barriles for a number of years. How have you both seen the East Cape change over the last, say, 5 years?
Wow, last 5 years, unrecognizable, really. The rate of development, the new people coming into town, very different. There's more people coming with money. There's a lot of people moving from San Jose and Cabo, wanting the beautiful Sea of Cortez, the swimmable beaches and so on. And I think that has really become the biggest differentiator on the East Cape is our beaches, the small town, the sort of older Baja vibe that you get with Los Barriles and that surrounding area. And it's really attracting a lot more people coming in, either to wanting to buy or to build their own properties. Mm-hmm.
And Dede, you first came to the area how many years ago?
About 26 years
so
ago.
You've seen a lot of change, especially in that area. Because
have.
when you first came here, was it to the East Cape or to Cabo?
It was to the East Cape. I came specifically to Los Barriles for windsurfing. Mm-hmm. And it's changed dramatically over the years, but a lot of the changes are super positive. It used to be just windsurfing and fishing mostly. Yeah. And now we have pickleball and mountain biking and kayaking and stand-up paddling and horseback riding. It's a real sports athletic community.
Right.
And so we're attracting a whole different genre of people now.
And distance-wise from the airport, for those that don't know, how many minutes is it from the airport, Los Barriles?
Well, depends.
Okay, not you, Emma. You drive fast. The normal person.
Dede. About an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the extremely aggressive ones?
Oh, no, that's 45 minutes takes us.
For us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 45 minutes to an hour drive. So a little bit longer than the airport to Cabo San Lucas, but not a whole lot.
No, and it's a great road. I mean, it's Mex 1, goes all the way up to Tijuana, so it's well maintained. And yeah, don't drive at night. That's the only advice.
And so I'm imagining, Dede, that a lot of your initial clients were probably buying lots and not finished houses. Is that correct?
That's correct. And some of the houses that were built even back 2 decades ago are luxury. They're beautiful homes and large homes, and lots of them have been renovated now. And then the newer lots that we're selling, people are building mostly large luxury homes, especially on beachfront.
Why do you think people are building large homes in the East Cape as opposed to smaller type homes?
Well, I think it's aspect. There's not that many lots left on the beach. When we talk about luxury, luxury is a subjective word. One person's luxury is not another person's luxury, but what we find is that people are building what we would say luxury properties because you've got a beautiful, stunning beach, amazing views of the mountains, and for most people, that's what they want.
Right.
And they're starting to build a different house now. We used to get the traditional Mexican house, but now we're seeing more contemporary, and that's appealing to more people who want that.
Much more modern.
Right, modern contemporary style. We see it in Los Cabos and throughout the Baja.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're a buyer of luxury in the East Cape, what are some of the tips that you would give those buyers that are just starting their journey of looking at properties?
Well, I mean, I don't know EDD,
Come talk
but
to us.
yeah, that obviously.
So
Yeah.
solicit the help of a licensed real estate agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest response we get from buyers looking for luxury properties is that they're used to buying in the States and they're used to buying in maybe Cabo or San Jose, and they're normally pretty surprised by the price because it's so much more cost effective on the East Cape, which seems bizarre because actually you're getting the more access to the beach.
Yeah.
You know, most of our luxury properties, if not all, are all on the beachfront. And to be able to walk out of your house, out of the gate, straight onto the beach is such an amazing thing to be able to buy, which you can't really get in San Jose, Cabo. That doesn't exist. So a lot of it is value for money, even though they're higher prices.
This is something interesting that I've noticed with most of the houses that are offered in Los Cabos. If they're on the beach, they tend to be in a gated community with an HOA fee, rules and regulations. Is that the same in the East Cape?
No, there's very few gated communities. There's Lighthouse Point Estates is one. Santa Maria, we have small little neighborhoods that are gated but not manned. They're not.
Sure. So there's more options for those that really want to escape and not be governed by an association and still be on the beach.
Absolutely. I mean, there's, as Dede says, there's very few. And, you know, you buy your lot, you buy your house, whatever you're buying, normally that's it.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
So aside from two things that I could see, your monthly costs are less because you don't have that HOA fee. And then you don't have the guidelines of a community over your neck. What are some other advantages that you could see?
Well, I think privacy is a big issue, and being able and access to the beaches. I've noticed that, 2 or 3 decades ago, the beachfront homes here in Cabo and San Jose you could walk right down to the water, and those days have changed. So I think that having access, like Emma said, having access directly onto a white sand beach is pretty special.
You mentioned prices earlier, more affordable for luxury in the East Cape. By your estimation, what does that equate to? Like a beachfront home on the low end, what could you buy oceanfront home?
Well, we have a stunning house called Casa Concha, which is actually under $1,975,000, and it pretty much sits almost on its own it's on a pebble beach, but it has a walkway down to the water. And $975 for an oceanfront is pretty amazing.
How many bedrooms and bathrooms is Casa Concha?
That is
3 bedroom, 2 bath, and a powder room. And it's got pocket doors that open all the way up with a hot tub out on the deck. It's absolutely stunning. It's a cob house. So inside the walls, it was built with cob on the inside. So it's
Cob. What's cob?
hay, basically.
Hay.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of those houses.
All natural materials. Yeah.
It's very energy efficient.
Energy
Yes.
efficient and very comfortable as far as the temperatures go
Yes.
in either heat or extreme cold or heat. So, it's a stunning property.
All right, so for Casa Concha, how big is the lot?
So the lot is 1,500 square meters, which is about a third of an acre. And this particular property has, I think it's 22 lineal meters of beachfront.
Okay.
It's a pebble beach, but they've done sandbag walkway that goes all the way down to the water, so you can easily carry kayak or stand-up paddleboard or electric foil or whatever you have.
So Emma, you got us started talking about properties, and I have here listed several of your luxury listings in the East Cape. So can you tell me a little bit, both of you, about these listings? To start us off, there's Casa Remington.
Sure, yeah. So Casa Remington is Rancho Leonero, which is a subdivision south of Los Barriles and just north of La Ribera. This is a really highly sought after area. If houses come on the market, they're normally quickly snapped up. And Casa Remington itself sits on the bluff, so it's not immediately on the beach, but it has a lot that goes all the way down to the beach area.
Okay.
And it's an interesting property in that it has a separate living area below and above. So if you wanted to, you could split it in two, and you could rent a part of it out. All in all, it's 4 bedrooms. It's been very carefully designed by the owner to account for things like wind movement, sun, shade, which is all really crucial when you're living in Baja.
Okay, and that's just priced under 1.8 million.
That's right, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being a part of the Nick Fong podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest updates. And if you're watching this on our social channels, please like and share. And if you want to be featured or you want me to talk on a certain topic, food, activities, culture, real estate in the Baja, drop a comment.
And Dede, the next property that I have on my list is Villa Serena. Tell us about that.
So that one is in El Cardinal, which is north of Los Barriles. And we think it's going to be one of the up-and-coming places since Los Barriles is starting to get crowded and there's very few beachfront properties even available in our local inventory. Villa Serena is a beautiful 4-bedroom home. It's on a 9,800 square meter lot.
That's huge.
It's huge. So you could
2.5 acres.
Yeah, you could literally build a whole separate property on there. And it's the main house has a charming palapa, but the rest of it is all cement. And it was remodeled about 3 or 4 years ago by Carmen Higuera, who's one of our local architect builders, famous. And it's beachfront. Walk down the steps right onto the white sand. This one is white sugary sand beach, no pebbles.
Oh, very nice. And $2,190,000 is the list price I have.
That's right.
You mentioned it did a remodel 4 years ago, and I can imagine some of the properties, in the luxury category do need to have a remodel or were recently remodeled. What are your feelings about a remodeled house or a house that needs rehabbing? If you're an owner out there, what would your advice be to the homeowner looking to put their property on the market, or maybe it's on the market and in need of a rehab and they decided not to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think sellers have got to be really objective about this. Luxury means luxury, and people paying millions of dollars for a property, they want to move into it right away. They want to be able to have the furniture, the ambience of a luxury property. And some of the properties that are in this price range because of their size, because of the location, because of their potential. And what we try and say to our sellers is, imagine you're the buyer. You've been living in this for 10, 15 years, and maybe the furniture is looking a bit tatty. So there's about 4 things that we would always ask them to review objectively through a buyer's eyes, and we help them to do that. So things like furniture, does it need refreshing? Paintwork, does that need looking at? The outside environment, the curb appeal. When you drive up, is there beautiful planting there? Does it need to be changed? All of these things add up to create that.
But if I'm a owner of a luxury property in the East Cape and there's, say, $100,000 of repairs, remodeling, refreshing, why not just negotiate or list it at a lower price?
Well, it's a good question, and it's because people paying this amount of money want to move into something that they believe is luxury, and they don't want to do the work themselves. That's what we're really seeing now, is that buyers are wanting something move-in ready, and that's a really important message for sellers today. People don't want to look beyond what you've done. All they can see is what you have right here, right now. So it's very important that sellers start to think out of their own shoes and in somebody else's shoes.
Because a lot of these owners of these luxury homes built the houses themselves, right? And so they know no different. They built the house. So to them, probably they're thinking, just get a contractor and $100,000 and I'll reduce the price $100,000. But what have you found? It doesn't work that way. It doesn't
work like that. No, and then increasingly, people are not able to see what needs to be done. They expect it to be done before they buy it, and that's a big change. Even from 3 years ago, people would look at a property and think, I can see that needs $150,000 spending on it. that's fine, I'll do it myself. But the buyers that we're getting now don't have the time. They're here for a limited amount of time, and they definitely don't want to be overseeing builders and contractors.
It's much different when you buy a lot for $50,000, half acre, and you build your house and you have to do all the work because you're building in that equity. But when you buy a finished home, you want it to be done and ready, right?
Exactly.
And so moving along, there's another listing that you have called Hacienda del Mar.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, and this is a very famous property in town, in the center of Los Barriles, and that's because it's one of the biggest rentals. It makes a really amazing return. It's booked out pretty much all the time. It has direct access to the beach, 7 bedrooms, pool, beautiful courtyard, and that really is ready to move in. They've done a lot of improvements lately, including updating furniture, painting, etc. It's definitely one to be viewed.
And that beach is the beach in Los Barriles.
Yeah,
People
it's
kite
sand.
surfing.
Yeah, yeah.
People on their ATVs. You have restaurants, and just down the street from our office.
It's walkable to everywhere, and that's why it's so popular, because you can get big groups of families and friends in there, and it's just a really well-known property in town.
Okay, moving along. Alta Heights.
Yeah, now this is a very rare property. It was built, must be 30 years ago now, maybe a little bit more, as an actual retreat. And the owner never got to finish it. It was inherited by his grandson. And it's a huge piece of property in Spa Buena Vista. It sits right on the top of Spa Buena Vista, which is a frac, which is basically like an HOA. And the property itself has 14 bedrooms.
14 bedrooms.
Hotel bedrooms, yeah. And also a separate building with 6 apartments. It has all the infrastructure there, the pool, there's a kitchen, dining area. So it's ready to be a hotel, or it could be a big compound for family and friends, or great rental, B&B. There's so many options. It does need TLC, there's no doubt.
Okay, but a lot of bedrooms, big property. Is that on the ocean?
It's not directly on the ocean. It's like a 2-minute walk.
Okay, and that one's listed for $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. Casa Mezmer.
Casa Mezmer is a new listing, and it is on the beach at Lighthouse Point Estates. It's a brand new home. It's absolutely stunning. It's 6 bedrooms, 5 baths, pool, lovely fire pit area, and like I said, brand new. We haven't had a chance to show it yet, but I don't think it'll last long. We sold a house not too far away from there, maybe 6 or 7 houses north of there for 2.1 recently. And it was a similar design, contemporary modern design. And it was, I think, 7 or 8 years old. And this one's brand new. So priced for at $2.8 million.
Okay.
I don't think it'll last very long on the market.
2.5.
2.5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All these 2.5, 2.8, you know.
But yeah,
You just made
beautiful,
we just discounted it $300,000 for our viewers.
I mean, it's right on the beach.
On the beach.
Gorgeous.
That's one of the communities you mentioned that is gated and with an HOA. And we've seen great appreciation in that area.
Yeah. Oh, it's very, very hard to find a house there on the beach. I mean, they get snapped up.
Why is that?
Because it's stunning. I mean, that area is absolutely stunning, yet you drive 12, 15 minutes to La Ribera. You have all your amenities there. There's a huge shopping area going in, and they're building a huge shopping mall to service the whole local area. So that's going to be a game changer.
So those people that don't know La Ribera, tell everyone what really put that town on the map.
Costa Palmas, 4 Seasons.
Yeah.
And so that's a huge resort, and we've never had a golf course or a marina on the East Cape, so this is a big deal for us.
Yeah.
And it's definitely put East Cape on the map.
Definitely.
And Lighthouse Point Estates is 15 minutes away from the Costa Palmas resort.
The next property is Casa Caracol.
Yeah, this is gorgeous house, which is in an area called Las Brisas, and that's possibly the number one location that people want to live in Los Barriles. It's basically on the hills. So it's a little bit like if you imagine the Pedregal of Los Barriles. And there are hardly any lots left now, if any. So the original homes there are really important when they come up for sale because everybody wants to see them. It's a very interesting design. It's beautifully designed on a slope, so it takes advantage of the slope, and it has casitas and rooms at different levels with beautiful planting. It's been so well maintained, and I don't think it's going to last long.
And that one's $2 million.
No, that is yes, you're right.
$2 million. Okay.
Yeah.
And not just luxury as houses, but because you just mentioned, like in Las Brisas, there's a shortage of lots. And so now people are having to buy houses. There's still options to buy lots in the East Cape. Dede, what do you have for us?
So right now, beachfront lots, we're really lucky to have several Lighthouse Point Estates lots available. One of them is actually a double lot.
Okay.
And we have that one listed for $880,000. That would make an incredible luxury home site for somebody. And then we have another one that is listed for $450,000, which is right in line with market value out there. But the fact that you can't get beachfront lots anywhere in Los Barriles, and even in El Cardinal and north, it's difficult to find them. Right. Having several lots in Lighthouse Point Estates on the ocean is a big deal. Yep. And then we also have a lot in Costa Palmas, a marina lot. So it's right on the marina. So if somebody was going to buy that one, they'd be able to put their boat there.
Incredible. So the La Ribera, the town, the Costa Palmas that put it on the map with the Four Seasons, the Mon in construction, the Mon Hotel, you have a marina lot.
We do. We have another one we're about ready to list the
in
the
fact, it's
second one.
contiguous to the one that we already list. And we have buyers already asking us about whether they can have both because they want their friends next to them.
Cool. And the price of that, $1,100,000?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
How big of a lot approximately does that?
It's also 1,500 square meters. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're big.
All right. So those are lots, several houses. Where do you see the market going in terms of luxury for the East Cape?
Well, this is something that we get asked every day, and I think the thing for the East Cape is there's no more room really in those hubs. So whether it be El Cardinal, La Ribera, Los Barriles, Lighthouse, you're not as if you're creating more land, and it's not like Cabo where there's still huge growth. There's growth where we are, but for luxury, there's nowhere to go on the beachfront or those spectacular views. There are some hillsides being developed now, but not many. So really, you're looking at a scarcity of supply where we are. And I can only see it continuing as it is now to be incredibly popular, a lot of demand, a lot of high net worth individuals coming to the East Cape now from Cabo, from San Jose, from the States. For many reasons they want to come there. It could be political, it could be wanting to escape, it could be inflation, it could be Cabo's too busy, but they continue to come to us. And that's just going to put more pressure on the inventory because there just isn't that much.
We work with a lot of developers, and a common question we get from developers is what kind of product is missing from the area, right? And so in Los Cabos, it's condominiums. There's a huge supply. And so if you were to say to a developer, what product type is missing from your area, what would that be?
Luxury beachfront homes.
Luxury beachfront homes, like ready to go, like spec homes.
Yeah.
Or remodels. I mean, going back to what we were talking about with, doing some upgrades and renovating, we listed a property just a few months ago for $3,160,000, and it had been completely gone through. It's a stunning piece of property. It's right on the beach in Agua de la Costa, and it went into escrow. It's in escrow, so I can't tell you the price, but I can tell you.
It was close to list price, and it wasn't on the market very long.
No. So that's an indicator that our value is there.
Right. So
no doubt.
$3 million listings, if it's well appointed and move-in ready.
Yeah.
I saw that years ago in Los Cabos, that buyers didn't want to fuss around with remodels because what ends up happening is it's the time, and then you get, unfortunately, a lot of people get swindled out of bad contractors that promise and something, they underdeliver, and it's just unfortunate. So.
Yeah, and you've got to be there. I mean, you have to be there on a weekly basis to monitor the build, and nobody wants to do that if they're busy. So, yeah.
Well, ladies, thanks for joining me and telling all of us a little bit about luxury on the East Cape. And we look forward to hearing about more of your exciting listings.
Thanks for having us.
You.
All right.
Thanks.
Until the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.